Morning walk today. Probably do a run too. Good stretch this morning. So I'm gonna do probably a little over a mile on a walk, and then hopefully do about a mile run. Get ready for the day. It's pretty nice out. I think it's about maybe somewhere between 35 and 40 degrees, and the wind is very minimal. So that's good news. Okay, so get ready to go. I'm about little 0.88 miles on my walk, so we're gonna go a good another half mile, maybe even more. Walk feels really good. Then we'll start running and kind of give you a quick update on where I'm at with training and any injuries and stuff like that. All right, so here's where we're at with really quick backstory on what started all this, and then I'll go into way more detail in a different video. So in March of 2022, beginning of March, I started on a diet, did very well, started losing weight, lost quite a bit of weight, was feeling pretty good. Summer came around, Nico's birthday, he turned 9, and from that day on, I just kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. I was having some difficulties staying off cake and drinks and beer and stuff. That just kind of all came to it. The summertime was super nice, so it was just fun being outside and having drinks and stuff. So kind of fell off of that for a while, and kind of rolled that into early fall. By the end of October, I had some health issues, and that really jump-started my mission. And since October of 2022, I've been very strict on my diet and on my workout and health. And late December, sometime before Christmas, Nico and I were at the gym working out. And on the way to the gym or the way home, I brought up to him that I enjoyed working out, but why not work out towards a goal instead of just getting fit? And so we decided to do a triathlon. I had been researching them a little bit, and they make variants of the triathlon where you don't have to do Olympic or sprint. They even have smaller. So I signed him up for a junior, and I signed myself up for a mini. Junior is 100 yards open water swim, 3-mile bike, and a 1-mile run. And the adult mini is 250 yards open water, 7-mile bike, and a 2-mile run. So that's kind of what I've been training for. So if you hear me say training, that's what I'm talking about. And I know that may not sound like a lot, but for someone who hasn't really been that physically active over the years, although I was when I was younger, that's going to be quite a bit for me. So that's why I'm trying to get into shape. Plus, being overweight makes it just as hard or even harder for things like running and biking and stuff like that. Training, it's going well. We've been very good at it, staying with it. I've had a couple injuries with the running, and that's kind of what I really wanted to get to on this part. Was I started out really well with the running. I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, which means I took it easy. I was going slow, stretching, not warming up enough, that's for sure. And that's why I'm doing this today, this long walk. But what I found was, after about 3 or 4 weeks, I started getting gains. And let's say my first mile was like some super slow 18 minutes or something. It probably was too. By the end of 4 or 5 weeks, I was on the track at the high school, and I got an 11-minute 5-second mile. So for me, that's like incredible. My goal for the race is just 10-minute mile. So I got jazzed about that. And I think I started pushing harder instead of just accepting the 11-minute mile and staying at that for a while, or even slowing back down, because that 11 minutes may have been an anomaly. So I got a real bad hip pain, which I think may have been from sprints. It may have been from oh my gosh, it's hot. Hat's hot. I think it could have been from some of my sprinting I was doing, which I love doing the sprints. Just over running. And then there's a day at the track, which you may see, I ran out of camera battery and stuff, so I may post it, but I started getting a really bad pain in my right foot, which I think ended up being some sort of like lower shin splint. But I worked it out that night and went running the next day. Super slow pace, like almost like slower than walking, but with the mechanics of running. And it worked, and I was able to run. And so that's my goal right now, is I'm going to continue running. I'm going to just take my pace back down, do proper mechanics, and I think that's going to get me to where I need to be. Get ready to go start my run now. So I'm going to try to just push all the way through to my house, which should be I think a little over a mile. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm just going to let my phone roll until the battery dies or I run out of room, and I'll try to finish the video up at home when I get on my computer. So that's kind of the plan. All right, so remember, my goal here is to continue running and not hurt myself or re-injure my hip or my shins, ankle, foot, whatever. So I'm going to be going at a pretty slow pace. So if you see how slow I'm going, that's the reason why. So this whole thing with using my phone to record video right now is such a pain. And I'm wanting to get a better camera. So I'm kind of saving up for that. I've been buying a lot of things lately. This whole first part's a little uphill. Some due to training, some due just to things that I want. But I bought training shoes, running shoes, a lot of clothes. Not a lot of clothes, but some new clothes. That's due to the weight loss. So I kind of had to do that. And then I made 2 really big purchases just last week. I bought 2 new bikes. One for me and one for Nico. I got a Specialized Cirrus X. I got the 4.0 version because that's going to be my main and most likely for right now my only bike. So I wanted some of the upgraded parts, and so far I've ridden it twice and it's awesome. As expected, the camera ran out of space to store footage pretty quickly. A little upset. I was talking for quite a while and didn't realize that I'd stopped recording, but left off at the video that I had just bought a new bike for myself, which is the Specialized Cirrus X 4.0. Not going to go into a lot of detail on that. I will later when I show the bike. I also got Nico a Specialized Cirrus X, but the 2.0. So that is still a very good bike. And I didn't want to spend extra on his bike, since he'll outgrow that bike in 3 or 4 seasons. He'll continue to be able to ride the bike, but if he's competing using that bike, he may not be able to, because he may be too large for the size of the bike. But he should easily get 3 seasons out of that bike, unless he just grows insanely, crazily fast.
So that's where I left off on that. Unfortunately, I don't have any other footage of the run. I forgot to start my watch when I started the video, so I don't know my exact times, how far I went exactly. But I know when I did finally look down at my watch and realize I hadn't started it, I started it, and I did then continue jogging, and I jogged exactly a half a mile back to my house. And I think my pace was something at like, I don't know, 12:55 or something like that. So actually not that bad for a slow run for me. I know that's very slow for most runners, but for me that's not bad. It probably would have been even just a tad slower potentially if it would have recorded the first part, because I started out slower, and that's how I tend to run. Is I'm trying to start out slower, and as I get comfortable and move into the run, I do increase in speed. And from my understanding, being a new runner, jogger, that's sort of the way you want to train. Is you want to finish faster than when you start. That way, it means you're holding onto more stamina throughout the run that way. So yeah, anyways, I didn't get any of that recorded, but I think it was somewhere between a mile and 1.3 miles, I think, is what I ran today. And it was a nonstop jog, so I did jog the entire time. I didn't stop and walk or anything like that. And I've noticed that's kind of been my trend on these 1 mile runs, is I've been able to push through and do the whole mile without that much problem. I'm at the end, I mean, I'm out of breath and stuff, but I'm not cramping up or feeling exhausted. So that would lead me to believe that maybe I can increase my distance training, keeping the same pace, and increase my distance training, so I can start preparing more for my triathlon that I'm training for. So that's going to be my goal. I was going to start that this week. I've been busy. I haven't had time, so I need to get a plan put together, and I want to start next week with trying to do a mile and a half a day, or a mile and a half one day, 2 miles one day, then maybe a mile, and then keep going back and forth just to keep things fresh and to try to make sure I stay from injury. And then on Sundays, as usual, I'm trying to do a day at the track, which is those are normally the fun days if the weather isn't like horrible like it's been recently. So those will be my longer days, or my more proving ground days, to see what I can do when I'm at the track. I am supposed to go visit a friend up in the Cuyahoga Falls area. I think that's where he's at now, and we want to do some trails, like hiking, running, and walking. So that may take up one of my Sundays, or maybe I'll do that on a Saturday and then still try to hit Sunday at a track. So that's kind of my plan for this weekend and this upcoming week for what I'm going to do for that. And we'll get into some of the other stuff that I've been doing training in a later video. Thanks.